The Forbidden City was the center of power of the Ming and Qing dynasties. Here, a total of 24 emperors held court, and from here, they ruled their vast empire for more than 500 years. In the center of each magnificent hall, there stood high on a platform the dragon throne of the emperor, and behind the throne, there could always be found a marvelous work of calligraphy. This was perhaps a unique phenomenon among the world's palaces. Today, the emperors have disappeared, but those works of calligraphy remain. What are they in the eyes of posterity? Are they words, pieces of art, or imperial canons? As he slowly rubs a bar of ink on an ink slab, the calligrapher is already planning the words to write. As his brush licks the ink, the calligrapher is already envisioning how the words will appear on the Xuan paper spread out before him. As the brush moves over the paper, square-shaped characters pour out from his brush tip and create a contrast in black and white between solid and void. Pouring out at the same time from the brush tip are the calligrapher's thoughts and emotions. This is Chinese calligraphy. In 1998 in Paris, at a modern Chinese calligraphy exhibition, Jacques Chirac, at the time the President of France, wrote the following. In China, calligraphy is the art of all arts. From generation to generation, it carries on the memory of a nation. This type of artistic expression is little known to the Western world, where blending of writing and painting is rare. Chinese calligraphy is amazing and fascinating. Simply put, Chinese calligraphy is writing with a brush. Then why is this particular kind of writing acclaimed as the art of all arts? And why is it so fascinating?
那跟汉字的独特性是分不开的，而因为尤其是单字，你拿一个单字，就跟拿一个拉丁字母的，就是的一个字母，那就不一样。一个字母还是一个工具，就是分析语音的。一个单字其实是跟一种符号一样。毫无疑问的，就是全世界现在作为一种文字，能达到艺术这个层次，就一个，就是汉字。
This is a rubbing from an oracle bone unearthed at the Yin ruins in Henan province at the turn of the 20th century. The inscription is a list of the heavenly stems and earthly branches used to record dates. What is special about the inscription on this bone is that there are 6 almost identical lists. Why did people carve the list 6 times? Chinese scholar Guo Mo pointed out that the 4th column was neatly and beautifully written, while the other columns were poorly carved. He presumed that the 4th column was the master's model, and the other columns were copies by his students, just as Chinese children today still learn calligraphy by copying models. Although this may be pure speculation, it does not fail to show how from their birth Chinese written characters possessed a strong aesthetic orientation.
你看这个甲骨文或者金文啊，你看起来变化莫测，一个字的偏旁可以写这边，可以写那边，可以写上边下边，可以变化很多。可是写出来你看都有很强的艺术感。 都有很强的艺术感所以这方面说起来的话呢，它本身就有一种这个艺术的教养
There are, of course, systems of handwriting, and before this printing started, there was much handwriting in monasteries, but although there were also some calligraphers always in European countries, so people who were said to be very good writers, but this is not comparable to calligraphy, because calligraphy in China and in East Asia became a part of the cultivation of the personality in general.
The mastery of skills is like approaching the way. When one becomes skillful with the writing brush, the beauty of calligraphy shows in every stroke. Yet there is still a gap between a skill and an art. Approaching the way is not the same as attaining the way itself. Beauty in form and ease of writing are the aims of every writing system. However, there is a salient difference between Chinese calligraphy and writing of other languages. Namely, Chinese calligraphy has the aim of creating an artistic mood. Pablo Picasso, the master of Impressionism, once said, "If I'd been born in China, I'm sure I would have become a calligrapher rather than a painter." When looking at a Chinese work of calligraphy, every viewer, though they may not know a single Chinese character, is impressed by the composition of the brushstrokes, which can certainly be viewed as a piece of abstract painting. In fact, this is characteristic of the ideographic nature of Chinese words.
就说甲骨文里的木字吧，中间一竖，就像一个树干，下边两笔往下的叉子，是吧？叉头就像树根，往上两支一穿就是树枝。这就是一幅图画，但是它是一种意会的图画。那么放两个，于是变成了树林了。两个以上意思就是，那变成森林，森林呢三个木以上。中国人把三称为最多的数，三生万物，是吧？所以由中国古人在造字上，我想说的是很聪明。
After comparing Chinese with English and French, famed Taiwanese poet Yu Guangcheng remarked, "With the creation of written symbols, Chinese people have found a carrier to entrust their soul, their memories of their ancestors, and their hopes for the future." Just take a look at the character Yu or rain. Aren't the little dots like sprinkling raindrops or a downpour under the vault of heaven? Your mind's eye can actually see the clouds and rain. This unique ideographic feature of Chinese writing makes writers strive for a pictographic effect when practicing their skills. For instance, when writing Hu, the character for tiger, try to depict the animal's ferocity in the character. When writing the word Lung for dragon, envision a dragon flying in and out of the clouds. The ultimate goal of writing is to express our understanding of the world, that is, to use abstract dots and strokes to depict the nature of a thing. This is the Dao, or way, of Chinese calligraphy. And because there has always been an artistic conception behind each character, from its invention, the Chinese way of writing, in addition to its practical purpose, adopted an artistic approach. While other languages turned toward phonetic symbols, Chinese written characters became a vehicle to carry the people's aesthetic perceptions.
“毛笔”是在这个文字以前就可能已经创造出来了，这个我们亲眼可以看到所以呢这个用毛笔，把这个毛笔移用于文字的书写之上，是吧？因为毛笔本身的特点，它这个有这个运笔可以轻重疾徐是吧？那么这样就会产生一定的艺术特点而由于它正是由彩陶的艺术方面的这个产生的一种工具，所以它就带来了这个艺术方面的一些特色。
My teacher in Chinese calligraphy told me, there is only one stroke, so-called 一画. Because if you have 一画, when you put the first stroke, you divide the white list into white and black, into into something that you already have, and something is empty, like kind of yin and yang, 虚实上下.
In June of the year 649, while in the capital Chang'an flowers and trees were in bloom, the atmosphere in the imperial palace was suffocating. Li Shimin, Emperor Taizong of the Tang dynasty, was seriously ill. On his deathbed, the emperor implored his son, "I wish you will give me one thing. If you are a filial son, you will not deny your father his last wish." The emperor was in fact testing his successor on his filial piety, one of the most sacredly held moral values in China. It was, of course, an extremely serious matter. But what kind of treasure was it that the emperor could not part with?
这件作品就是赫赫有名的《兰亭集序》。可是，如果我们去还原一下当时这件作品产生的情景，就知道，对于书写者，对于当时参与这件事情的人来说，这件作品其实是很普通的。为什么？因为它是王羲之和一些好朋友在休息日饮酒唱和，写下了一些诗文之后，由王羲之做的一个序。
In History of the Jin Dynasty, compiled during the Tang Dynasty, Wang Shizhi's biography was written by Emperor Taizong, who praised Wang's calligraphy as the best, perfect in all of human history. From the word perfect, we can see how the emperor esteemed Wang's work. For over 13 centuries, the stele has stood here engraved in Taizong's writing. The character Zhi appears over 90 times, each with slightly different shape, as a marvelous reproduction of Preface to Poems from Lan Tiang. The emperor was a devoted and renowned calligrapher, while also an ambitious statesman with high ideals. But why did he praise Wang's calligraphy so highly? Was it just an emotional impulse? Following the collapse of the Western Jin dynasty in the year 317, China went through 3 centuries of chaos. People were plunged into an abyss of misery, and many died in the incessant wars. The longing for peace was strong. Catching the tide in the year 581, Yang Jian united the kingdom and established the Sui dynasty. But peace did not last long. In just 30 years, Emperor Yang Di's extravagance and tyranny lit the fires of a peasant uprising, during which the Sui dynasty collapsed and the Tang dynasty was born.
当时这个唐王朝的全部官吏只有730个人，那就是说政府很高效啊，行政成本也低。李世民呢也能够从谏如流，这在历史上是很有一些美名的。那么这些因素呢，促进了文化的发展，啊，他为了网罗人才，完善了科举制度，把这个你这个不分出身、不分等级啊，改变这个魏晋南北朝时候那种家庭门第那种观念。
New History of the Tang Dynasty states that the examination system adopted the criteria of selecting officials by the way they write. Of the 4 ways to choose talent, the third is calligraphy. One is selected if his regular script Kai Shu, is elegant and beautiful. This then became a goal for candidates wishing to achieve success. To aid in selecting candidates by writing style, Emperor Taizong established the Calligraphy Academy, where masters of calligraphy taught students. It was stipulated that the students must hand in a copied page every day for assessment.
书或者说书写，在中国古代文化当中占据很重要的地位。那么早在西周的时候，人们就把书列为6艺之一。但是真正由国家行政机关把书列入到国民教育系列和考试系列的是在唐朝，始作俑者就是唐太宗。
那么唐太宗订立的这个艺术起是什么规范呢？就是楷法求美，要求写楷书，以楷书作为人文这个学子的一种基本技能啊。这种基本技能是什么呢？就写的要规范，要传统，要方正。
In the history of calligraphy, the Tang dynasty is called the era of rules. This was due to historical trends, but on the other hand, Emperor Taizong's open advocacy pushed the tide forward. An interesting question is, why of all the famed calligraphers before the Tang dynasty, such as Li Se and Jiao Gao of the Qin dynasty, Cai Yong and Zhang Zhe of the Han dynasty, Zhong You, Shuo Jing, Wei Guan, Wang Shizhe's teacher Lady Wei, and his son Wang Xianzhe of the Wei and Jin dynasties, why did Emperor Taizong favor Wang Shizhe above all?
"有一种观点认为，他是为了收拢民心。那么，这个所谓民心，并不是说收拢全天下的人心，而是主要是所谓江左地区，也就是今天的江南地区的这些望族啊和民众的之心。
就像这个汉武帝要霸住北家，独尊儒术一样。这汉武帝为什么尊重孔子，是吧？他是一个文化的一个代表性人物。那么王羲之呢？他这个书法家，他也是一种文化的一种代表，是一种儒家文化的一种代表。
But if it were only for political reasons, Wang Shizhe wouldn't be regarded by later generations as the sage of calligraphy, and Emperor Taizong would not have established one of the greatest dynasties in China's history. From the first character to the last, the entire essay, preface to poems from Lan Ting, seems to have been done in one breath. A noble heart and a natural beauty poured out from the tip of the brush. Perfect integration. That is why, up to this very day, the principles embodied in Wang Shizhe's writings are still considered guidelines for Chinese calligraphy. But what is the core of these insurmountable principles? Emperor Taizong put it this way. In essence, his way is comparable to the ritual qi vessel in Confucius temple. Lacking, it leans. Excessive, it topples. It won't stand straight unless it's well balanced, and that is harmony.
鲁庙最著名的一个祭器就是旗，它反映了中国的伦理观、价值观和人生观。怎么呢？它是盛酒或者水的。古人所说的清酒就是水。那不管它注上什么，你注一半的话，它稳稳当当；你注满了的话，它力学的作用它就倒掉了。这就是满则溢。那么王羲之不过就写了一幅字，李世民把它比作孔夫子前面祭他的神圣而尊贵的礼器，就把王羲之的字抬到圣这个高度了。
As promoted by Emperor Taizong, Chinese calligraphy viewed balance and harmony as its highest principle. striving for balance between black and white, thick and thin, solid and void, and motion and stillness, calligraphy slowly gained unique aesthetic standards. Every calligraphic style then had its own standard model to follow, and only when a student could write in a good hand could he possibly look forward to passing the imperial examination and winning a position in the government. Through calligraphy, the Tang dynasty was able to bind the literates' ideology to the Confucian golden mean. Even today, when learning how to write with a brush, one must sit upright while holding the brush upright, and the paper must be placed straight. If learning the Kai Shu style of the Tang dynasty, one must carefully copy stroke after stroke the standard model passed down for over 1,000 years. What can modern students learn from the Tang dynasty models? In the first lunar month of the year 783, Chang'an, the Tang dynasty capital, was shrouded in the clouds of war. General Li Xi rebelled against the central government, and after conquering Ruzhou, his army was marching toward the capital. As the Tang dynasty had already been severely weakened by the Anshi rebellion, the central government could only pin its hopes on negotiations for peace. But who to dispatch to the enemy camp to negotiate? The emperor's councillors proposed Yan Jianqing, then Minister of Personnel.
颜真卿是唐代的大书法家，又是大政治家。颜真卿在维护国家的统一方面做出了重大的贡献。颜真卿把自己的书法和把他的生涯全部结合起来，创造了这个气势磅礴的颜体。颜体坚架严谨，而且很壮美。学习颜体的人，往往字能够写得很大，就是里面一种壮美的东西。
At that time, the rebels seemed invincible, so General Li thought the throne was well within his reach. Trying to sway him to surrender to the Tang was just like knocking one's head against a rock. Yan's friends advised the elder statesman to decline, and some even tried to stop him en route from continuing on his mission.
颜真卿的这个家族在安史之乱中是遭遇了巨大打击的。当时他在平原郡和他的兄弟一起抗击安史之乱，最后一家是有30多口人战死，已经为国家付出了极其惨重的这个代价。但是他作为有着5、6代持续坚守儒学传统的这样一个家庭的这个负责人，他是不可能面对国家的需要而选择另外一条道路的。
2 years later, his body was returned to the capital. When his hearse passed through the city gates, the waiting crowds wailed loudly. He had to the last, like the characters he had written, remained straight and upright, bold and valiant. Although this dynasty's great calligrapher had been unable to persuade the rebels to put down their arms, Yan Jianqing used his indomitable dignity to write that final stroke of his life. That is the spirit of Chinese calligraphy. Generations after generations have spent their lives studying and improving their handwriting as a way of cultivating their integrity. Fa is a model, an epitome. Yan's calligraphy erected a model, and his personality became a model for all Chinese to learn from. In fact, behind every piece of model calligraphy, there is a perfect personality. These beautiful pieces of handwriting passed down through the centuries, and the spirit and soul they embody are no less the spirit and soul of Chinese culture.
"反面人物的书法作品怎么去看呢？比如说蔡京，比如说严嵩，比如说秦桧。我觉得呢，这里有2种标准。如果从纯书法艺术去看，那么应该说 他们都写得很好。但是如果结合人品来说，那么人品和书评加起来看，那么人们往往把它处在一个否定的地位。